Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi, the Actualizer of World Peace. Chinese culture spans a profoundly long 7,000-year-old history and is considered one of the 4 great ancient civilizations. Nowadays, it stands as a vibrant, living traditional culture despite its deep antiquity. The main reason why this traditional culture was able to be passed down into the present is because of its notion of union between heaven and humanity. These values lead humankind into a deeper connection to heaven and earth and human history. Further related to this is the task of connecting the atmosphere of life to the atmosphere of history and creating a great and peaceful future by drawing strength from the great atmosphere of life, great spirit, and great underlying patterns of phenomena. With all of this in mind, it can be said that traditional Chinese culture is a culture of peace. Beginning in 1998, the founder and leader of Taiwan's Weixin Shengjiao, Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi, started leading large groups of his disciples to Xinjiang, Gansu, Qinghai, and other places in an effort to trace back their origins through worship and field research. The research found that from the perspective of I Ching philosophy, the Tao lineage of Chinese culture can trace its origins back to the ancient but still living Kunlun civilization. It's especially the case that the civilizational system of Fuxi, the supreme polarity, Taiji, the 8 trigrams, and the 9 halls as part of the modern Kunlun civilization is the origin of contemporary I Ching culture. In other words, the origin point of the Tao lineage of Chinese culture should be moved back an additional 3,000 years, as the culture of Fuxi culture is its actual root. The culture of the 3 ancestors of Chinese civilization is a heritage that stems from an earlier culture they inherited from Fuxi. Through each successive generation of descendants, it continued into the present day and took shape as our Tao lineage of Chinese culture. The Chinese ethnic peoples trace their origin back to the creator, Pangu, and their various descendants now span 15,615 family names representing distinct family clans. The emperors and kings who acted as the sons of heaven thus far number 917 holy spirits who contributed to the pride and greatness of the Chinese ethnic peoples. This spans the Yellow Emperor, who was noted for promoting mutual kinship and assistance. The Flame Emperor emphasized cultivating great talents, and Emperor Chiyou was credited with venerating the noble and talented. These values enlighten and promote the contemporary value of the modern application of ancient wisdom, which can be observed in the culture of the 3 ancestors of Chinese civilization. Not only does Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi carry traditional culture forward and seek out the origin of the Tao lineage, he also promotes the 3 ancestors of Chinese civilization in Taiwan.
中华文化悠悠岁月7000年，一化开天，再化辟地，人立其中，即是中华文化易经大道。这是人类所应该遵循的不变的法则。所以，鬼谷文化是将中华文化古至今用还原到当下，正道的结果，世界和平的灯塔在台湾，世界和平的依归在唯心道藏。
Former Dean of the College of Liberal Arts at National Taiwan University, Professor Huang Qifang, wrote a book which took promotion of the Tao lineage and culture and revitalizing the hearts of Tao practitioners throughout the world as its main theme. Professor Huang praised Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi for promoting the spirit of the Tao lineage of Chinese culture and taking up Mencius's 4 potentialities. The 4 potentialities of Mencius are a heart of altruism, a heart that knows shame, a heart of courteous deference, and a heart that knows right from wrong. These are used by Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi to promote the spirit of the Tao lineage of Chinese culture. The I Ching is our wisdom, and Feng Shui is our pure land. The I Ching and Feng Shui are the Tao lineage of Chinese culture, which is a culture of peace, and a culture that ensures the sustainable development of the world. Weixin Shengjiao inherited and now spreads the Tao lineage of Chinese culture, which is a culture of peace and a culture that ensures the sustainable development of the world. It is also a key of illumination to unlock a new 5,000-year future for the Chinese ethnic peoples of the world. In the dense greenery of a forest, the serenity and profundity of the Zen mechanism are ubiquitous. The devotees, drawn by their karmic affinity, flow in to visit like an ever-cascading stream. This is Shenforce Temple in Guoxing Township, Nantou County, the starting place of Weishin Shengjiao. Upon entry via either side, one's eyes will be drawn to the following couplet. In the Weishin order, we cultivate the Tao for the sake of the nation, benefit humanity and heaven, and pray for blessings and peace for humankind. This excellently highlights the core spirit of Weishin Shengjiao and the core vow kept by Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi that inspired him to found our order. Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi's secular name is Zhang Yirui, and before he started practicing the Tao, he established Zhongxing Surveying Company in Taichung, a pioneer in land surveying in Taiwan. However, in 1982, he was suddenly struck with a severe illness and bout of despair that prompted him to abandon his worldly career. He dedicated himself to the marvelous dharmas of the I Ching and Feng Shui so that he could come to the rescue of those who suffer throughout the world and turn the Dharma wheel of great peace under heaven. Touched by Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi's compassionate vow, deities in heaven empowered him to make a miraculous recovery without medical intervention. Through spiritual cultivation and awakening, he came to achieve union between heaven and humanity with Wangchen Laozu. After more than 30 years of awakening to, verifying, and practicing the Tao, Grandmaster's experiences with the I Ching and Feng Shui led him to deeply realize that the I Ching and Feng Shui were the source of the great profundity of Chinese culture. He concluded if people desire great peace under heaven, if they desire world peace, then the best way to achieve that is through the I Ching and Feng Shui. By combining the I Ching and Feng Shui with religion for practical usage, Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi acted upon his profound heart of gratitude and committed himself to delivering and benefiting sentient beings. He vowed to run a school and establish a religion as his first steps towards establishing great peace under heaven.
天地立宗，圣人立教，是名宗教。而且，天地之间，人的心是大无其外的无限宽广。要安心，只有多了解宗教的真实意。所以，本人从40年前就开始修行，带着唯心圣教的弟子们，大家来探讨宇宙的大调和法则、鬼谷文化、古字今用，即是世界和平灯塔。
Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi established his movement as the Weishin Order in 2001, and in 2009 it was renamed Weishin Shengjiao. Weishin Shengjiao of Taiwan uses world peace as its core vow, and the propagation of the Tao lineage of Chinese culture and the Guigu culture of peace as the order's overall gist. The Dharma current of Weishin Shengjiao brings together the I Ching as the crystallization of China's 5,000-year cultural history, which takes heaven and earth as its master. Our teachings are a Tao of patterning our practice after the natural processes of heaven and earth. Hongjun opened the mists of primordial chaos, and later, the Tao was transmitted to the ancient immortal of the South Pole, Nanji Shenwong, and then it was transmitted once more to the Dark Lady of the Nine Heavens, Jiutian Xuanyu. The transmission was then continued by the immortal master Gui Guzi, Wangchen Laozu. It was handed down until it reached the present day, and as such, the marvelous dharmas of I Ching and Feng Shui, though rarely heard, have been passed through countless kalpas to reach us in the present and be praised by us. Although Guiguzi thought and its theories are over 2,300 years old, it represents a concrete, practical study that can lead to true peace in the world, even amid the chaos of the 21st century. Through it, we can develop a great future for humankind, so that peace can be seen throughout the world as this spiritual refuge for world peace emerges.
唯心圣教 一句名言：阴阳日月最长生，可惜天理难分明。若有真圣鬼谷子，一出天下定太平。鬼谷子是中华民族2350年前他的大智慧，而鬼谷文化是上圣的世界和平大智慧的依归。由本维新圣教台湾鬼谷文化协会会长杨吉东来负责执行。鬼谷文化是世界和平的一盏明灯，在台湾，鬼谷文化是人类和谐、相互尊重、古至今用的上圣心法。
There are still numerous disputes in the world today which tend to be political, economic, and cultural in nature. But the changes in our Earth's atmosphere, and especially global warming, have brought humankind a more general sort of uneasiness. Consider, for instance, the shock and disaster brought about by COVID-19 epidemic that gained speed in 2020. To face environmental issues that affect the global public, there must be a promotion of global governance. As such, there are calls for the strengthening of environmental protections and education on the maintenance of ecological species, as both help ensure the sustainable development of our planet and foster crucial environmental awareness among the global population. As we face our complex and ever-changing future, it's apparent that humankind cannot live independently on the Earth. We all have a responsibility to our planet and each other.
鬼谷文化的核心思想即是万法唯心。心是大无其外，细无其内。若是我们人类都能够体悟到万法唯心，世界就和平，人类就没有战争。
Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi elucidated in 2009 that education is the foundation for world peace. In 2013, he offered another elucidation by remarking, "The bedrock of world peace is economics." This opened an educational and economic momentum towards achieving true world peace, as both components represent crucial orientations worthy of dynamic human industriousness. Education will drive future economic growth, and that growth will act as the foundation for a future world on a trajectory towards peace. This observation also confirms the rationale of the elucidation provided by Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi when he declared that education is the foundation for peace, and economics will be the bedrock of world peace in the future. Gui Guzi, known as the Sage of Wisdom, was born over 2,300 years ago. His thoughts signal a return to the core teachings of the ancient but still living Kunlun civilization. These teachings form a connection with the even more ancient culture of the three ancestors of Chinese civilization. From these forebears, Gui Guzi re-inherited the culture of the I Ching. He was based out of modern-day Mount Yunmeng in Qi County, Henan, China. Under him, the Tao lineage of Chinese culture and I Ching came to contain the study of feng shui. He explored the Zen of I Ching divination and the theory of vertical and horizontal alliances. Combining all these marvelous dharmas resulted in a form of philosophical thought that led to the creation of all the various schools of legalism, military strategy, vertical and horizontal alliance theorists, and Taoist immortalists. Due to their mutual achievements, the Chinese ethnic peoples regained unity and moved towards peace. More importantly, the Dharma current of Chinese culture has a long history and will last indefinitely. Consequently, Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi founded the Weishin order of Weishin Shengjiao and combined religion, education, and academia with the Tao lineage of Chinese culture and the I Ching. This became the order's Dharma current in Taiwan, which is now being promoted and spread throughout the world to universally benefit sentient beings. Grandmaster enabled the Dharma to be well received by everyone, so that all may delight in it, practice it, and perfect themselves in it. Especially in the Pure Land of Taiwan, Weishin Shengjiao has enabled countless people to radically improve their lives and had a peaceful heart to achieve a meditative state. This is one highly tangible contribution of our religious order to humankind, and it is a bright light for humankind in the 21st century. To speak more of the originator of the teachings of Weishin Shengjiao, Wangquan Laozu, it should be known that Wangquan Laozu is the golden immortal wielder of the great net, who has incarnated into the world 3 times previously. The first time was around 5,000 years ago, when he incarnated as Gui Yuqu, the primary mentor of the Yellow Emperor Hunyuan. He applied the 5 elements of yin and yang in the I Ching to explore the flow of energy between nature and the human body. In doing so, he completed the first classic of traditional Chinese medicine, the Yellow Emperor's classic of internal medicine, Huangdi Neijing. He also invented the south-pointing chariot to assist the Yellow Emperor in defeating Chiyo at the Battle of Zhuolu. His next descent came about 2,500 years ago. At that time, he incarnated as a great thinker of the Warring States period named Wang Xu, also known as Gui Guzi. He established the first military academy of ancient China. Many famous disciples of his, such as Sun Bin, Pang Juan, Su Qian, and Zhang Yi, trained there. His theory of vertical and horizontal alliances contributed to the unification of states previously at war with one another. He composed the classic known as Gui Guzi, and subsequent generations have called him the Sage of Wisdom in posterity. His third descent occurred during the late Qing dynasty, when he incarnated as the Viceroy of Huguang Province, Lin Zexu, and took a stand by prohibiting opium. Unintimidated by other authorities, he promoted good practices and weeded out corruption. He advocated that China learn from the strengths of other countries in order to better compete with them. Due to this, he was later judged by many historians as the first man to have truly seen the world with open eyes. Gui Yuqu, Gui Guzi, and Lin Zexu were the ancient saints whose systems of thought and conduct each exerted a revolutionary impact on Chinese history. Now, through the great compassion of Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi, Wangquan Laozu has seized the helm and steered his vessel of compassion back into the mundane world by manifesting in the Pure Land of Taiwan to accomplish his core vow of world peace. This is a great blessing for all the heirs of Chinese cultural heritage, and a great blessing for all of humanity as well. In October 2012, Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi was shortlisted for the Nobel Peace Prize. Given our deep conviction that Weishin Shengjiao's doctrines and truth are the singular Dharma of great peace under heaven, we began to prepare the compilation and printing of our Dharmic treasure collection and named it the Weishin Canon. Therein, it officially became our scripture, known as the Weishin Canon, which we endeavor to preserve forever. Mobilized by Yiyao Publishing House, 100 practitioners of Weishin Shengjiao jointly completed this canon on behalf of the Dharma lineage of Weishin Shengjiao. The Weishin Canon is not only the first heavenly revealed treatise of its kind in human history, but also the greatest treasure that Gui Guzi has bestowed upon the world. It consists of 15,615 scrolls, which numerically echoes the 15,615 family names of family clans of the Chinese ethnic peoples. No duplicate scrolls appear in this number, and the number of volumes increases gradually by 2,000 every year. The Weishin Canon is the scriptural representation of the Dharma lineage that was passed down by the immortal master Guigu, Wangquan Laozu, through the Tao lineage of Chinese culture for over 2 millennia. Each scroll holds the secrets of the celestial mechanism and points to the location of the Tao within the hearts of all people. It is the lifeblood of Weishin Shengjiao, and it is our eternally turning Dharma wheel.
大宇宙的调和法则是体，有体必须要有用，用呢即是鬼谷文化。鬼谷文化古至今用，到当下21世纪，有本唯心圣教传下来了，集合起来，那就是道藏，体用兼备。要弘扬鬼谷文化，只有一条路，多理解唯心道藏。唯心道藏是一切万法的主轴，所以世界要和平，必须要来开发每个人内在心灵的智慧、 鬼谷文化，古至今用啊。
The development of the Tao lineage of Chinese culture in Taiwan can be traced back to the Ming and Qing dynasties. Chinese culture was brought to Taiwan from Mount Tang to be built there, and has a history of at least 400 years. In fact, there's even a case to be made for going back further, back to the Tang dynasty, when Chinese ancestors from Mount Tang came to Taiwan. This reveals that Taiwan and China are inseparably linked. Taiwanese culture and the Dharma lineage of Chinese culture are inseparable. At the Shrine of Heaven in headquarters Shenforce Temple, the founder of Weishin Shengjiao, Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi, elucidated, the essence of Taiwanese culture originates from Chinese culture. The development of Chinese culture in Taiwan is a matter of carrying forward the spirit of history and securing cultural wisdom. He hopes to trigger the historical awakening of the world so that the two sides of the strait, Taiwan and mainland China, can blossom into a peaceful future. He even took the creation of this eternal peace as his core vow. It is likewise his hope that given their sentiment of blood being thicker than water, the sons and daughters of the three ancestors of Chinese civilization can connect hearts and hands to create everlasting peace in the world in accordance with Grandmaster's core vow. Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi began practicing the Tao in 1983. The process of propagating the Dharma was filled with unforeseen challenges. Some people devotedly followed him, whereas others criticized and slandered him. However, none of this discouraged Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi due to his mature sincerity and profound sense of mission. He always told himself, "I will carry out this work until I perish. It beats idling away my time until some illness takes me." This type of staunch resolve allowed him to breathe new life into the use of the I Ching for harmonizing one's family and bringing peaceful balance to the world through statecraft. Moreover, he drew an ideological blueprint to enable people to build peace in their minds and lit the torch of Chinese cultural wisdom to be spread throughout the world. Feng Shui is the environmental life of mountains, rivers, and earth, and the greatest harmonizing energy of the universe. If humankind were to go against the principles of Feng Shui, then all myriad beings and creations, including humanity, would have no means to continue existing. This is absolutely true beyond any doubt. Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi elucidates the harmonizing principles of Guigu culture, the I Ching and Feng Shui, to promote sustainable development of the global environment. Guigu culture, the I Ching, and Feng Shui's interrelational and harmonizing principles are a Dharma gate that is second to none. This Dharma gate also confirms what Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi elucidated when saying that the study of Feng Shui is a philosophy of environmental and ecological conservation.
世界和平是人性尊严的相互尊重。地球只有一个，我们既然来到世间，我们就要相互尊重。所以，世界和平是人人所应该尽的责任和义务。
Great peace under heaven is the great Dharma of both the realm of heaven and the realm of humanity. If those under heaven desire peace, then they need to cultivate the Tao of heaven and practice the Tao of humanity. Grandmaster first began practicing the Tao and propagating the Dharma to benefit beings in 1983. In the time since, Shenforce Temple on Zhongbun Mountain has gone on to open 42 branch temples and 39 classrooms to join in the mission of turning the great Dharma wheel of world peace. Weishin Association for the Promotion of World Peace was formally established in 2009, and it promulgates a program of the 5 views of Weishin, which are the view of the Dharma realm, the wisdom of heaven and humanity, the view of religion, reverence for life, the view of transnationalism, propagating Dharma through information technology, the view of the humanities, moral education, the view of purity, the I Ching and Feng Shui. These 5 views are taken up with right mindfulness and right belief, as they are 5 key heart dharmas that promote world peace. The core vow of achieving great peace under heaven is fully supported when karmic causes and conditions are brought into proper harmony and various dharma gates are taken to form a powerful practice. Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi previously elucidated that religious education should be used to develop everyone's spiritual wisdom and to inspire them inwardly. He devoted his life to tilling the fertile soil of religious education, and that has matured into acre after acre of fertile land, where the children, youths, scholars, farmers, or business people, diverse students with the proper karmic affinity and opportunity to come into contact with these marvelous dharmas, have all witnessed profound changes in their lives. If these teachings can be promoted to the whole world, then they will prove themselves to be the most practical path to mental quiescence and peace. The most representative Weishin Institute committed to lifelong learning, Yijing University, which raises and cultivates talented people. The system for Yijing University, established in 1996, with hopes of encouraging Yijing learning for everyone, by providing educational opportunities for all people through the functions of social education.
慧远禅师他是以推动天下太平、世界和平为己任，要天下太平安定人心，所以必须从心易经心法为出发点，所以慧远禅师开始传授易经相关的理念，到目前为止已经培育了大概将近有10万多个人左右。
Yijing University currently offers research courses including but not limited to the Heart Dharma of the I Ching, fundamental classes, intermediate classes, lecturer training classes, and summer intensive classes for college students. The Weishin Order's Yijing for Children Promotional Center has been well received by students from all walks of life. The university's whole-age education method, which spans children, young students, scholars, farmers, business people, and professionals in industry, allows everyone to access magnificent and life-changing dharmas. When their lives move towards harmony and stability, they find more energy to liberate themselves and others, so that all may jointly cultivate the Tao for the sake of the nation and the happiness of the citizenry. This practice of spiritual cultivation is becoming an indispensable force for the promotion of world peace. Grandmaster's remarks indicate that in the future, Yijing University will someday fulfill its destiny of achieving world peace while also shouldering all the immense responsibility that comes with it. In 2008, Weishin Shengjiao College was founded in Bagua Holy City on Mount Bagua. The Department of Applied Yijing Studies and the Weishin Shengjiao Institute of Applied Yijing Studies were likewise established. In our approach, the Yijing and Feng Shui are integrated with Confucianist, Buddhist, and Taoist thought. Systematized teaching and research methods are used to create societal harmony and achieve great peace under heaven. In the future, Bagua Holy City on Mount Bagua will emerge as the source of world peace and the beacon of the Tao lineage of Chinese culture. Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi has been practicing the Tao for 38 years, and all of that time has involved taking the key of changes to unlock yin and yang, and using truth to advance the great harmony of yin and yang throughout the world. Grandmaster established Yao She, House for the Key of Changes, in Taichung on the 15th day of the first lunar month of 1983. Later, its name was changed to Taichung Jingshou Yuan, Taichung Intensive Practice Shrine. The religious gist of his movement was using the heart dharma of the I Ching to provide divination via the Zen mechanism and Feng Shui methodology in order to guide sentient beings and help them solve their problems or improve the environment of their homes, factories, and companies. Therein, mental quiescence is attainable for all people. Nowadays, the Dharma instructors of Weishin Shengjiao offer consultation services out of the order's 42 branch temples and 39 classrooms. Dharma masters devote their time and effort to such matters, and they base their actions upon these truths to fulfill their responsibility and obligation to the creation of harmony, while also solving the problems of sentient beings suffering throughout the world. The safety of corporations is the foundation for the stable development of societies and nations. The degree to which layouts follow the Feng Shui principles determines whether a plot of land ultimately supports or hinders that cause. Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi established the World Taiwanese Business Service Association in 2004 to provide Feng Shui services and investment advice in Taiwanese-funded enterprises around the world. In 2012, he proposed the revitalization plan for homes and factories, hoping that the Dharma instructors cultivated by the order could help companies improve their feng shui environments and turn their losses into profits, as doing so would stabilize the economy and benefit the population. These projects have been carried out in cities in mainland China such as Guangdong, Fujian, Shanghai, Zhejiang, and Jiangsu, and also other places overseas, such as Southeast Asian countries, Japan, Australia, Canada, the United States. The marvelous dharmas taught by Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi have conferred blessings broadly and carry his hope that everyone finds quality employment, good homes, plentiful food, and stable lifestyles. Increasing the number of individuals who are able to live with stability, mental quiescence, and free from fear makes great peace under heaven and world peace more attainable. The power of religion is incredible. The reason why Weishin Shengjiao is able to carry out our providence of cultivating the Tao for the sake of the nation and the happiness of humankind is that the order exists as a religious group. Weishin Shengjiao acts as a connection point for extradition of myriad sentient being denizens of the spirit realm. In this manner, there's nothing so magnanimous it lies beyond Weishin Shengjiao, and nothing so minute it is not contained within it. The transcendent religious rituals guide beings through the Weishin Pure Land to Pure Land of Southern Heaven, and then they are reincarnated in the Western Pure Land of Ultimate Bliss. Since the establishment of Weishin Shengjiao, the negative energy from catastrophes, plagues, and wars around the world has been transformed through the successive recitation of sutras, prayers for blessings, and the holding of ceremonial offerings. This includes events such as SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome in 2003, avian flu in 2005, the giant Tiankong sinkholes in 2010, and also the quelling of volcanic unrest in Japan in 2012, affecting Mount Fuji in Japan, as well as similar volcanic unrest in Yellowstone National Park in America. Likewise included were Ebola virus outbreak in 2014, world hunger and war crises in 2015, Taiwan's safety in 2019, and the COVID-19 epidemic that gained speed in 2020. Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi always follows the instructions of the originator of the teachings Wangchan Laozu when called upon to hold various religious rituals and Dharma ceremonies, which involve meeting with Dharma, acting in accordance with the teachings and reciting various scriptures to resolve all forms of danger smoothly and within the correct timeline as revealed by Wangchan Laozu. These interventions represent unique and rare opportunities. Interventionary action must also be combined with the compassionate and mindful recollection of all disciples and dedication that transcends complaining or resentment. Weishin Shengjiao always prays for humanity to create a harmonious energy field on earth so as to benefit the spirit realm. This is why the Dharmic lineage of the Tao lineage of Chinese culture can reach far back to secure the future on the basis of peace. From the opening to the present year 2020, some 38 years have passed. In that time spent practicing the Tao, Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi has created numerous tangible constructions. 3 highly celebrated examples include the Yellow Emperor Temple, which represents the spirit of the 3 ancestors of Chinese civilization, Yunmeng Mountain Bagua City, and Bagua Holy City on Mount Bagua. The latter 2 symbolize the melting pot of Chinese culture on both sides of the strait. In the future, Weishin Shengjiao's Bagua Holy City will be the same as Yunmeng Mountain Bagua City in terms of its standing as a melting pot of Chinese culture. It awaits the sons and daughters of the 3 ancestors of Chinese civilization on both sides of the strait. It waits for them to link hearts and hands while promoting Guigu peace culture to the world. That is when Wangchan Laozu's core vow and Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi's aspiration of securing great peace under heaven will finally be realized. Weishin Shengjiao endeavors to better include academics with religion and also incorporate religion with academics. In Taiwan, Weishin Shengjiao actively promotes the Tao lineage of Chinese culture. Their efforts have resulted in a great leap forward in the development of the 5 arts. In 2003, Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi applied to the Ministry of the Interior for the establishment of the Guiguzi Academic Research Association of Taiwan. This association was created with the purpose of cultivating great talents, promoting the Tao lineage of Chinese culture, and joining others to build a this-worldly Pure Land. Nantian Culture Center was established in 2005 so that prominent thinkers could pool their wisdom to make a contribution. Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi has visited Bagua City on Mount Yunmeng, Qi County, Henan, at least twice a year for the past 20 years to hold the cross-strait high-level Guigu Culture Forum and religious Dharma ceremonies to pray for blessings. At these events, scholars from all walks of life on both sides of the Taiwan Strait contribute their wisdom, cultural understanding, and their sense of courtesy and justice. All of these efforts are focused on enlightening and awakening the historical consciousness of the sons and daughters of the three ancestors of Chinese civilization on both sides of the strait, so that we may create cross-strait peace. So far, more than 100 such events have been held. The compassion and selflessness of the hundreds of thousands who follow the Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi and learn from his profound knowledge of the Tao lineage of Chinese culture is truly encouraging. This exchange of hearts has great significance to fostering peace among intellectuals on both sides of the strait and is a tangible way to promote cross-strait peace. Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi once said, "Dharma ceremonies are a place where we participate in and support the spirit realm and the material realm, which cast observance upon one another. These ceremonies are also a place of spiritual refuge. This benefits both the spirit realm and the material realm. If there's a desire for peace in the future, there needs to be recognition that the two realms of spirit and matter cast observation on one another. That is the means by which ancestral spirits bestow peace on future generations, and thereby their descendants bring peace to their own families, to their nation, and out to the world in its entirety. Consequently, the attainment of peaceful heart is inseparable from the well-being of ancestral spirits." Weishin Shengjiao held the first Chinese United Ancestors worship ceremony at Linkou Stadium in Taipei, Taiwan in 2004. Among Chinese religious ancestor worship ceremonies, it was the first of its kind in terms of scale and model in the past 5,000 years. Weishin Shengjiao invested in tracing back the origins of ancestral spirits before establishing the ancestor worship ceremony. This research and development took 10 years, not only for the building of temples and a shrine for 3 ancestors, but also for completing the record containing the names of the Chinese nation's emperors and kings, and the family names of family clans of all the ancestral spirits of the Chinese ethnic peoples. From 2004 to 2020, the United Ancestors worship ceremonies have been held 14 times. The sheer manpower and material resources invested in the ceremony are hard to account for exhaustively. The merit of ancestor worship is that it's the only Dharma that maintains human peace. The 21st century Chinese United Ancestors worship ceremony not only created the common memory held by Chinese peoples across the strait and throughout the world, but also contributed to the great culture of Chinese filial piety by penning a new page about the starting point for world peace. Moreover, this is also the start of the creation of a this-worldly Pure Land. Additionally, the spirit realm and the material realm are enabled to cast observance upon one another, and all under heaven are brought together as one family. Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi is not only a contemporary practitioner of I Ching, but also a promoter and actualizer of world peace. He built in Taiwan a Chinese cultural melting pot, and the vast ocean-like wisdom of the Weishin canon, consisting of more than 20,000 scrolls, have become precious treasures of Chinese culture. These are likewise storehouses of wisdom regarding world peace. To hold ancestor worship ceremonies and various Dharma ceremonies for disaster elimination and the resolution of calamities in silence, Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi devoted himself entirely to make a great contribution to world peace and the sustainable development of the earth. On October 7, 2019, the annual UNESCO World and General Assembly was held in Paris. The chairman of the executive committee, Li Bingxuan, said that learning from history and the wisdom of our ancestors can help us build a peaceful and sustainable future. The speeches given by representatives from countries well known as peaceful tended to focus on the cultivation of moral values via ideological education and ethics. This coincides with the views on religious education promoted by Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi. I Ching University imparts the wisdom of the virtuous ancients to raise and cultivate talented people and to revitalize and cultivate people's morals. UNESCO's mission to build peace in the hearts of humankind is also fully compatible with Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi in the current time and space. Even though he was unable to attend the World Peace Conference, he had achieved in building peace in the heart, a thing that many other religions cannot bring. Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi said that union between heaven and humanity is one of the essential facets of Chinese culture. It's an ideal championed by ancestors in their pursuit of peace. If the interaction among all phenomena on the earth starts from the heart, then mutual tolerance and respect can equip us to live in harmony and create co-prosperity. This is the great Tao of change. Change is but one, and that one is but heart. It is also precisely the great Tao of the heart and change. The myriad phenomena do not depart from the heart, and the myriad karmic connections do not depart from the heart. This further reveals that while people are alive in the world, they should cultivate themselves and cultivate their heart. They should magnify the heart, take all myriad creations and phenomena throughout the universe as their teachers, and take their own heart as supreme. Activate the realization that the heart is the king. This is a powerful practice for implementing the ideal of peace. When Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 2012, it received wide attention from people from all walks of life. For instance, Professor Li Feng Mao from the Institute of Religious Studies at National Zhengzhou University published a research dissertation analyzing Weishin Shengjiao's approach to holistic care and education. He noted that Weishin Shengjiao is an emerging new religious movement in the world. Nowadays, both sides of the strait, East Asia more broadly, and also many other countries of the world are in urgent need of co-prosperity and coexistence within the international order. Weishin Shengjiao has chosen to use the Tao of divine beings to resolve grievances and redress injustices as a key theme of their religious care. Moreover, the modern application of ancient wisdom via the I Ching and Feng Shui is taken to achieve interpersonal harmony, peace within ethnic groups, and harmony throughout the universe. These were the main reasons why Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize the first time around.
唯心圣教唯心宗的宗主弘源禅师提出，以教育、文化、宗教出发，从易经风水学来提倡，让大家过得更好、更安心。这个想法，我个人是非常感动，也非常敬佩。师父他在2012年获得诺贝尔和平奖的入围，我们都以他为荣为傲。事实上，他带领台湾唯心圣教唯心宗的信徒，还有两岸呢爱好和平的人呢，所做的努力是被看到的。
In addition to receiving that honor, Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi has consistently made good on his lifelong commitment to promote a cross-strait Chinese culture of peace as a heritage to be exchanged and developed. This positive recognition is also indicative of the greatest affirmation of efforts made towards the fulfillment of the core vow in Weishin Shengjiao, cultivating the Tao for the sake of the nation and the happiness of the citizenry, and pursuing great peace under heaven.
慧远禅师推动天下太平、世界和平，在学术界方面呢，每年都举办了相关的学术的研讨会，集合世界各国的专家，共同针对易经、心法、风水相关的课题大家共同来研讨。所以等于立足台湾，放眼国际，然后把这个心法安定、阴灵安定。我们希望全国各界大家共同努力，让这个世界和平早日到来。
In Taiwan, where there's a freedom of religious belief, Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi has emerged as a pioneer and an inheritor of tradition. He's founded a comprehensive and inclusive new religious movement. By promoting the ancient cultural wisdom of the Chinese nation in modern language, he acts as not only a contemporary practitioner of I Ching, but also as a promoter and actualizer of world peace. He has created a melting pot of Chinese culture in Taiwan and allowed us to see the vast and subtle laws of nature's operations between heaven and earth. Through this, we have realized that the I Ching and Feng Shui are perfectly wondrous and meant to be received by open minds. Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi has become an ally of peace through interreligious exchange with other religious orders throughout the world. Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi once said that throughout his course of practicing the Tao for over 3 decades, he's encountered both the wonderful and the difficult. Fortunately, he's always been blessed with many good and virtuous friends, Dharma masters, lecturers, and students who support him in his mission. His philosophy and goal are to work together with others for world peace. It was only by working with others that his mission continues to this day, and this knowledge fills his heart with immense gratitude.
我们唯心圣教唯心中的宗主弘源禅师，他是一个超凡的行者，是一个世界和平的实践家。我们认为呢，世界诺贝尔奖如果能够颁给他，我想呢，对两岸的和平，对世界人类追求呢世界和平呢，应该是一种相当正向。我个人呢，对师父呢，仅表最高的敬意。
Grandmaster Hunyuan Chanshi took securing great peace under heaven as his core vow, and also cultivating the Tao for the sake of the nation and the happiness of the citizenry as the gist of his religious teachings. He saw that the two realms of spirit and matter casting observation on one another, and he also yearned for a world where all under heaven were as one family. Calling upon the 1.3 billion, the sons and daughters of the 3 ancestors of Chinese civilization, Grandmaster wants them to come together and serve the 7.5 billion human beings as their calling. Day in, day out, and without any rest, Grandmaster devotes himself to being the messenger of the culture of peace. With the mindset of a religious educator and teacher, he organized the edification of sentient beings and led others in turning the great Dharma wheel of world peace. His Chinese national sentiment and commitment to great peace under heaven is expressed in all of his sayings and actions. That is why he is sincerely admired and respected.
壮士